big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count up to 37.
Oh! This is where I think we're going to see the caution. Oh! Here comes Angela, though. He'll have the run. That car, the newest below the WL Cup Series champion. And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count up to 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A push for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it at Auto Club.
Hello and welcome to the Dialed In 180 from Nashville Superspeedway. Home tonight, the Dialed In 180 in the Below the WL Premier Series. Chase for the championship, race number 6. Only a few more races this season, and tonight's race going to be some pretty serious racing action out there. Alec, what are you looking forward to here tonight from Nashville Superspeedway?
Well, I'll tell you, we are looking at an interesting race. The most cars we've had in, I would say, about 2 or 3 weeks here at the Nashville Superspeedway in the Music City, if you so will. It's hot, it's slick, and I've heard that with the iRacing updates, they said it got a little bit tighter than most were hoping for, which is unfortunate, and I may have been mistaken making it tight. But I think today these guys are going to be, like you said, look at the track temp, 116 degrees. Air temp is 90 degrees. It's going to be hot. It's going to be slick, and you're going to have to conserve tires. We saw Dover this year being one of the worst tracks on tires, and it's because of concrete and the concrete surface. Here, look at this, all concrete, and one of the most unique tracks in the NASCAR Cup Series schedule with how the corners are shaped. Fast straightaways going about 170 and slowing it down almost to 130. So a lot of load on the brakes, a lot of pressure on the brakes, and a lot of pressure on the tires to go fast and then slow down in the middle of the corners. And I think the big story here is the national native right now, Bailey Turner on the track. Our camera on him, that 24 White Claw Chevrolet Camaro. He's your points leader. He's got a 13-point gap over his teammate Adam Cabot in the 17 car. And, you know, he won last week in Martinsville in, I would say, pretty exciting fashion, even though he had a big lead, but he had to save fuel. and he did it, which is weird to say for Martinsville. But Bailey is on a hot streak, but he cannot afford to have a bad night tonight, especially with 20 cars in the field, which we haven't really had. You know, if any of these guys in the top 4 in points who are still mathematically possible to win the championship, they cannot afford to make a mistake or get in a wreck tonight.
Yeah, 4 drivers separated by 23 points in total, so it's going to be one of those 4 drivers taking home the championship this season. AJ Stravato, who wrecked out early last week, basically eliminated himself with that incident. But yeah, he is there in 6th with 2 victories as well. Brody Hayes making a return, or is not here tonight.
He's not next week, I
so
believe.
yeah, he'll be making a return next week, but kind of out of contention by the nature of missing a race. He does have a race win. Seth Hatchell makes his return tonight. Good to see him back, the 2-time champ. We'll see what he can do here at the Nashville Superspeedway. And a good-sized field, like you said. Gary Sexton also joining us once again. Nice to see him back out here. And quite a few.
Give a shout out to Willie Nelson on the pole right now.
Wow, looking very quick. We did see James Loveland also very quick in the practice session. He hasn't put a lap in yet.
What I don't like, Bailey Turner is in 8th already, and there's still more than half the field to qualify right now as he's dropped down to 9th. 2 minutes to go in qualifying. We'll see if anybody else takes to the racetrack here. Banks goes up to 5th on the board. Adam Cabot 2nd in points on the pole right now. Ben Baffert, who's 4th in points, in 3rd. Keith Mayato, who's 3rd in points, is in 4th. You know, 3 of the top 4 in points who are trailing Bailey Turner are in the top 4 positions. As you got Yusuf Ghali on the track, hits the bump, gets up into the wall there. He's got to be careful here. Those bumps, these cars really do not like the bumps, especially in 3 and 4 where the bumps are more prevalent, can definitely affect the race car. It's all about getting a nice, good run off the final corners, or else you're really going to be in trouble because that long straightaway.
Yeah, his first lap doesn't count, so he's trying lap number 2 here as he works down the back straightaway towards turn number 3. Only 12 drivers have taken a time. Yusuf here trying to get up there on the charts. Out of turn number 4 where he hit the wall last time, clear of it this time. Let's see what kind of lap time he can get in. 30.323. That is going to only...
13.
Wow, 13th out of 13 drivers. So not going to be too happy about that effort, but going to be plenty of time here tonight. 130 laps at this 1.33 mile racetrack, just under 180 miles.
That is a long one. This track yesterday, we saw Anthony Pelican win in, I would say, dominating fashion yesterday. So clean air is going to be a big story tonight. I think it's going to be probably the top story is clean air. And like I said, I think we've got a lot of competitive cars. I mean, look at that top 10, all separated by almost a 10th. Honestly, all the way to 13th, separated by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, it's going to be really tight here. Not only the handling of the race car, but the competition is going to be very, very tight tonight. Gary Sexton continuing to get some practice in his number 1 machine. Good to see him back out here. And
I don't think anybody else going to take a lap here. So what we got is what we got. And Adam Cabot, good way to start it off. A bonus point, number 1. And if you could lead the first lap of the race, it's another bonus point and cut down to 11 points. And over Bailey Turner, who will be starting 9th. So that's Bailey Turner's going to have some traffic to deal with. And look at the names he's got ahead of him. Matthew Zwack, Seth Hatchell, Joshua Banks, Keith Mayato, Ben Baffert, Willie Nelson, and Adam Cabot. Those are tough guys to get around.
Yeah, none of those guys are easy to pass. You know, previous race winners, champions in front of him that he's going to have to overcome here tonight. Looking forward to an exciting race, though. It is hot here in Nashville, just like the chicken that they've got down the street. But
You ever been to Nashville?
I have not. I've been to Tennessee.
Neither have I. You've been to Bristol.
I have been to Bristol. Yeah.
Yes. I love Bristol. That's one of the bucket list tracks I would love to go to. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I want hopefully to get a trip down there one day. Hopefully in the near future would be awesome. I love Bristol. It's such an awesome track. The crowd, the racing. Hopefully they'll fix it a little bit better for the next upcoming years. I'm sure there's going to be some things happening with the race cars for the next gens for sure. But man, I'm looking forward to it. And I'll tell you, if I remember right, this Nashville race this year was not a bad one, if I recall.
Yeah, I'm not too sure I even watched the whole race. I may have been on the road during this one.
It was rain delayed for man, I don't know. It ended late enough. I think it was about nighttime, or it was about 9 o'clock nighttime, which is the western seaboard. So it ended about midnight. I think Chase Elliott ended up winning that one over Kyle Busch and Martin Truex. But if I remember right, man, I tell you, it was a pretty good race. Hamlin and Truex were going at it all race, and then it kind of got shuffled back to Kyle Busch leading. Then Kevin Harvick showed up. So I'll tell you, even though the next gen had a lot of critics to it, I'll tell you, I like the way it races on these bigger tracks, these wider tracks where there's multiple lanes. I think it's good for the future of this NASCAR and of the sport. So, heck, man, I can't believe we are in December and we're about almost exactly 2 months. Actually, we are exactly 2 months away from the Busch Light Classic at the Coliseum.
Yeah, it comes and goes so quickly, these NASCAR seasons. I mean, it goes almost all year, and then the off season's a few months, and as soon as you look up and realize it's the next season, it's pretty crazy especially for the guys that work on those teams. It's just around the clock. Even during the off season, those guys are putting in a ton of work and a ton of effort to get a leg up on the competition for the next season. But looking forward to seeing what they change about the race car and how they improve the competition. Obviously, very a lot of parity during the last season, but there's some things they had to work on. So looking forward to what they can do there. But yeah, Nashville, I remember the first race, Kyle Larson absolutely dominated and just kind of destroyed the field in that one. But there was good battling during that race too. It was just not for the win. It was further back in the field. And that was with really not a great aero package on the Gen 6 machines. But
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think these cars, if they just update that diffuser, I feel like it could be something to see. Honestly, who knows? There's not as many things that can change like you could on the Gen 6, where the Gen 6 was more, I guess you would say, aerodynamics wise and on the body than it was the, I guess the underbody. Than now. So I don't know. Next year's going to be interesting. Obviously, the Coliseum. Hopefully, the cars are a little more safer than they have been this year. We know with a lot of guys getting concussions. Unfortunately, seeming like it ended Kurt Busch's career. Alex Bowman was sidelined for a little bit, and there were some other guys talking about having concussions, but they raced through it.
Yeah, I think Reddick, right? He had one late in the season there.
Raced one, and I heard somewhere that Chastain may have got one as well from one of his wrecks. Which, I mean, that's not surprising.
It's pretty understandable, but it's definitely something they've got to fix. Just add some crumple zones to the frame of the car, and they can probably resolve that somewhat, but by sacrificing, the structural integrity of the car to an extent. But yeah, the engineers are probably hard at work trying to solve that problem, and we'll see what kind of a solution they present during the next season. But 35 seconds left here in the qualifying session. Adam Cabot is going to be the pole sitter. Willie Nelson, Ben Bafford right up there with him. Going to be starting up towards the front. Keith Maiato as well. He needs to get as many points as he can. The two-time winner and was leading the points during the regular season and the chase. Currently finds himself third in the standings. He's got his work cut out for him here tonight. But do want to thank you for tuning in to the Below the Double Yellow Premier Series Chase for the Championship. Make sure to cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there and who you're rooting for tonight. We'll try and follow along throughout the event. We are live on YouTube and Facebook for tonight's races. We are now going to the starting grid for the Dialed In Racing 180 from Nashville Superspeedway. Let's see where your favorite drivers are rolling off tonight. Starting on the front row, it will be Adam Cabot, the number 17 Magic Man. Going to get a pole this season. Willie Nelson going to roll off alongside him. Great qualifying effort there. Just 2 100ths off the pole time. Starting in the third position, it'll be Ben Bafford, the number 23. And starting in the fourth position, it'll be Keith Maiato, the number 36 machine. Rolling off fifth, it'll be Joshua Banks. Sixth will be Seth Hatchell. Seventh tonight is going to be Matthew Zwack. Eighth is Reggie Ortega. Rolling off ninth is Bailey Turner, the points leader. And starting outside of him, it's going to be Chris Simard in 10th.
And into the, I believe it'll be the sixth row, will be Ryan Gamble, the Talladega winner this year. Glad to see him back in that number 6 VSPEED Chevy Camaro. He'll be rolling off 11th. Gary Sexton, nice to have him back. He'll be rolling off 12th. Yusuf Ghali, the 2-time winner this season, will be rolling off 13th. Jeff Wright in that 48 Lowe's red, white, and blue Chevrolet. He'll be rolling off in 14th in that 48 car. Angelo Ronis, great to have him back. He'll be rolling off 15th. Eddie Trejo, another one great to have back, will be rolling off 16th. Dallas Sullivan will be rolling off 17th. James Loveland, name we haven't seen in a while, he's back. He'll be rolling off 18th. Alan Dice and Nick Starling will be running out the field tonight in 19th and 20th. Glad to see them come back again for another week of BTDY. And I tell you, it's going to be fun. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a little crazy. Again, shout out to Willie Nelson starting in second. I think that's his best qualifying effort of his BTDY career. And now I got to ask you, who's your pick tonight?
Well, somebody who's been pretty good on the short tracks and on, these more concrete style tracks, Joshua Banks. He's going to be my pick here to break through. He had a good race at Martinsville, just didn't quite get it done how he would have liked. Kind of got close to running out of fuel, if not ran out of fuel at the very end there. Yeah. So my eyes on the 35.
I think tonight, just one number up. I think Keith Mayato, he's really good on these concrete tracks. He's really good pace at Dover. And I'm glad to see him back. And I think he has to close up the points gap to Bailey Turner being 14 back. Why not close it up with the win tonight, where Bailey Turner's kind of starting behind the 8 ball in 9th here, behind all of his championship competitors. I think it's going to be a good one. And like I said, it's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. And I'll tell you, it's going to be fun to watch. There's going to be a lot of tires. It's hot. It's slick. These guys are going to be slip sliding around, and they're going to be all over each other, side by side, probably door banging a little bit. Which has been really good racing this year. And I'll tell you, man, it's going to be wild. And 180 miles of this, so sit back, relax, give yourself a nice Coke, or just get a nice soda or pop. Or pop, any kind of pop you want, or soda. And enjoy the race tonight with us. Thanks for tuning in. We're about to go racing 180 miles in the Dialed In 180. It's going to be good. Adam Cabot on the pole. Willie Nelson to his outside. Pace truck pulls off. And Yusuf Ghali pulling off as well. Racing in the Music City into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out, and we're underway for Nashville Superspeedway.
And nice even restart up front. They will go side by side down into turn number 1, all the way through the fields. The leaders not able to get apart from each other here, though. Cabot going to slide up the hill, and he will slide in front of Willie Nelson to hold on to the race lead out of turn 2, but pushing him down into turn 3. Big bobble there.
Nelson pushed him in pretty hard. You can see side by side all behind for third, Mayato and Baffert, and then side by side throughout the middle of the pack, Bailey Turner going 3 wide down the front stretch, using that apron behind, tucks in underneath now. Matthew Zwack diving in underneath here for the 8th position.
And they are stacking up a little bit behind. Seth Hatchell making his return. Joshua Banks down there on the inside trying to find a way around. The tight handling on these race cars tonight could be an issue if you're trying to make passes down low, but he's going to send it into the corner alongside the 8 machine.
And a big send from Banks. Hatchell trying to hold him up there on the outside. Bobbles a little bit. Here comes Ortega with the big run with these two punching the big hole in the air. Ortega now gives a little bit of an arrow push to the 35. Bailey Turner, the points leader, right behind Ortega. You can see Ortega slides at the racetrack, opens the door for Turner now. Turner goes to the left rear, and he'll get underneath the 2.
Yeah, really nice run there for Bailey Turner out of turn 2. And he's going to send it down into turn 3. Hatchell shuts the door, but he's going to try and complete the pass, at least on Reggie Ortega. Going to be tough here, though. Reggie really pinching down the exit of the corner, even back to the start-finish line. Reggie Ortega with the advantage.
And Ortega, to tell you, a lot of these drivers say Ortega is one of the hardest guys to battle week in and week out. And Ortega holding strong on that second lane, trying to pinch the 24 down. What does Zwack do? Zwack behind Bailey Turner. Looks like Ortega gets the drive off. Turner tucks in now. Here comes Zwack up to the outside. Turner sends it into the corner.
Yeah, meanwhile, Yusuf Ghali has just brought it back onto the racetrack. He's in front of the race leader. Yeah, about to go a third lap down.
Oh, no! Trouble! Keith Mayato gets turned down the straightaway by Ben Baffert. Mayato saves it.
Let's go back and take a look. I didn't even... Oh, my goodness. Right in the tri-oval there.
Yeah, I mean, that was... Keith Mayato would have been turned in front of the entire field. I don't know what Baffert was trying to do there. Is now Yusuf Ghali finding Adam Cabot, really messed him up, and here comes Willie Nelson to the outside to lead a lap. They'll door bang a little bit. Nelson fighting on the outside. Ghali holding these guys up, and you can see giving dirty air to that 17, really messing with the handling. Nelson fights up to the outside. Baffert closing in behind. Willie Nelson to the lead. Now here comes Cabot fighting underneath him. What does Nelson do as he goes to the lead?
Yeah, Yusuf Ghali really throwing a wrench in things here. You can see Baffert and Banks closing in. Seth Hatchell's gotten up to the 5th position after all of that melee with Mayato nearly getting turned around. Bailey Turner still in the 8th position. Matthew Zwack in 9th. But yeah, it's
that 8th position there. Oh, whoa, Baffert loose at the corner. Really loose. And look at all the momentum and ground he lost. Loses 2, almost 3 positions. And they'll be side by side, and we got a battle for the lead again. Cabot underneath Nelson.
Yeah, and Yusuf Ghali is right there in front. You can see the back end start to step out on the 17 as they cross the start-finish line. Willie Nelson once again will lead. But here comes Cabot, the Magic Man, trying to reclaim the top spot into turn 1, side by side, behind the lap machine of Yusuf Ghali, the 54. And big wiggle there out of the corner. He's going to clear the 22. Will Willie Nelson try anything?
Nelson gave him a break there. Nelson lifted on the corner late into the race. I doubt Nelson would lift for that. But Ghali is really messing with these leaders. He's giving them a bunch of dirty air, and Cabot can't seem to get away as he gets right into the wake. He's behind them, behind these guys, 3 wide for 7th. Looks like Ortega, Baffert, and now Turner closing into the back of Baffert, and Matthew Zwack almost gets into the back of the 24.
Yeah, these guys are really starting to struggle off of turn 2. I'm not sure they expected this. They're starting to slide a lot. I don't know if it's a push loose kind of condition, but you can see the back end really starting to get unsettled on a lot of these race cars.
Look at this train.
Oh man, close call there for Joshua Banks, but he is on the move here, up from 5th position to 3rd. Behind him, Hatchell up from 6th to 4th, so they've both gained a couple of positions.
And a battle inside the top 10. Looks like Ryan Gemmel now underneath the 18 of Matthew Zwack for the 9th position. Angelo Ronis right behind them. Gemmel tucks back in line. But like I said, it's just a big train. Yusuf Ghali's leading it, but he's 2 laps down. And he's kind of hurting Adam Cabot, who's stuck in the wake. He's stuck in dirty air. And look at that. Look at the backup it's causing. You know, we've got 4 or 5 cars under a blanket for the lead. We got the top 8 underneath the 2nd. Like a super speedway race kind of.
Yeah.
And I tell you, Cabot really checking up. And he gets
oh
loose.
Man, they are nose to tail. The top
look at
4.
Nelson.
Yeah, I think he's cut him a couple breaks here, and he knows that he's a little bit quicker right now. But
Banks is out on the hills there. No, when Nelson gets in that wake, pushes up the racetrack.
Jeff Wright further back. He's on the outside.
Jeff Wright gets turned. Oh, and Gary Sexton is around as well. No caution.
Sexton
Wright is spinning back up onto the racetrack here. No caution. The caution is not out. Stop race car on the track. He'll get back going. No caution.
We're going to take a look at the replay here. He was really wide, and then Gary Sexton up the hill. Probably wasn't aware that he was there. And around he goes. Sexton able to keep it pointed in the right direction. Both of them falling.
Ground, though.
Yeah, they fall to the tail end, 18th and 19th. Maybe a little contact between Starling and Loveland?
Loveland, no, I think Starling got a little tight off the corner, and Loveland was able to get the position. I'll tell you now we got a battle for the 8th position. Bailey Turner and Matthew Zwack. Zwack really loose underneath the 24, but they'll be side by side even down the backstretch here. Zwack pulls down to the inside, Turner up on that outside. His teammate Ronis behind him in the 21, and up ahead of them, Baffert and Ortega going at it for the 7th or the 6th position, but Zwack and Turner almost banging doors off the corner.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Kind of different than what we expected. I know the handling is really tight, or it was really tight, but I'm not sure it's not completely different here in traffic like this. Man. Look at Angelo Ronis with the run on the outside.
I tell you, Bailey Turner does not have the pace.
Well, we saw this though last week at Martinsville. He really struggled early in the race and went on to ultimately, steal it away from Joshua Banks.
Battle for the lead, Nelson and Cabot side by side again, but here comes the 35 of Joshua Banks and the 2-time champion closing in as well. Seth Hatchell hasn't left where he hasn't stopped where he left off there. Still running inside the top 5, but side by side, about dead even off the corner. Nelson trying to sidetrack the 17 of Cabot. Banks trying to push him by.
And
Cabot, a different racing groove, it seems.
Yeah, usually it's just the bottom around this racetrack, but I think they do put resin here in the upper groove.
Yeah, there is some resin.
But really interesting racing.
Away.
Yeah, well, you got to think about it. He's got clean air, and he's got technically 2 lap fresher tires because he didn't run those first couple laps.
Yeah.
So
And Zwack by Ortega there for 7th. I'll put the 18 up into 7th. Nelson and Banks side by side for 2nd. Can Cabot try to get some clean air to the nose here? He's got Golly about a half second ahead of him, but now these guys battling side by side. They hold each other up too much. Cabot can pull away.
yeah, and it looks like Hatchell going to go with Willie Nelson here on the inside. Going to try and push him past the 35 down into the corner. Big send by Nelson. Can he
he's gonna slide up.
clear?
He's able to slide up and he'll at least get the 2nd position back from Banks. Now Hatch will pull even with the 35. What does Mayato try to do? Mayato closing in behind the 8, and the 8 now going underneath the 35. Mayato and Baffert closing in. You can see a little bit of left rear damage on that 36. Not a ton, but there's some. I wonder if that's affecting him down the straightaways. Turner gets by Reggie Ortega. Ortega now side drafting here outside the top 10, or right for about the 8th position. As you can see,
look at Baffert.
Another steady. He's going to drift up into Keith Mayato. And I'll tell you, Mayato's got to getting tired of Baffert's stuff here.
Yeah, they've had their run-ins this season. I don't think Mayato is going to be too happy about him pushing the issue so early on in this one.
Zwack's coming up into this battle. And we know Zwack has been pretty competitive this season. He's yet to get that win, but he's always been a factor. And I'll tell you, looking at the top 5 here, 3 of the top 5 have yet to win a race. So the Zwack sends it
3 wide. Baffert.
He's going to get into Mayato.
And the 36.
Here comes Zwack. They're going to door bang off the corner. And here comes Bailey Turner behind them. Still 3 wide and a 3.
Yeah, this is not going to work out too well. Look at Zwack, really.
They're going to door. That's going to get Mayato free of these 2.
Oh, but he gets tight.
Coming to the wall. And they're back 3 wide again down the front stretch. Here comes Bailey Turner to the points that are closing in onto this battle. Zwack's gonna push up the racetrack. Mayato gets into Baffert and Zwack. He moves him up the racetrack. Here comes Turner.
That might have been a little retaliation there. I'm not too sure. That's not a whole lot of retaliation. It only cost Baffert a spot. Didn't gain Mayato anything. Meanwhile, up front,
Mayato a spot, and honestly, I understand Mayato's frustration as he pushes up the racetrack again. Turner now next to him. What is Ronis? Ronis tucks in behind his teammate, but I completely understand the frustration for Mayato. He'll get another crack at Baffert. Baffert takes his airway. Here comes Turner diving the nose here. Mayato just can't keep behind Baffert in the wake.
Yeah, he'll get a nice little push here and a little draft. So down into turn 3, he might get another shot at him. But
and there goes Hatchell. Hatchell passes Nelson for 3rd, and that was the 8 car up into the 3rd position. As now Banks is closing in on Cabot. Cabot pulling away by a half a second.
Yeah, but he's going to have the draft, and there's still dirty air being, pushed off by Yusuf Ghali out in front. 2 laps down, almost 3 laps down. He's going to be hoping for a yellow flag to get a wave around or a lucky dog.
And now Gemmel underneath the 21 of Angelo Ronis for the 9th position. Gemmel quiet and slowly but surely working his way inside the top 10 as Loveland gets by Ortega for 12th. Gemmel still fighting underneath the 21, both bobble off the corner. Ronis pulls him back down the straightaway here as Samard closes in on the battle as well. Loveland, like I said, up into 12th as Ronis gets a little loose on entry, but he'll fight up on the outside, doesn't have the grip. Gemmel takes the spot away. Now on board, James Loveland closing to the back of his teammate, Chris Samard.
Yeah, and Loveland was one of the fastest in practice. It looks like, I'm not sure he put a qualifying lap down. He started 18th here tonight, and he is really good on the long runs traditionally. So keep an eye on his 56 to maybe be a contender if he can catch a couple breaks in this race.
For sure, and unfortunately, Jeff Wright and Gary Sexton got in their incident. Wright is 20 seconds away from the leader, who's about a straightaway behind him. And I'll tell you, Joshua Banks is keeping the gap steady. 24 laps into this run. Not sure how many laps we'll get onto this run, as now Baffert gets underneath Zwack and a send for the 5th position. Baffert right next to Zwack, and I'll tell you, Baffert is racing aggressive, maybe too aggressive early in this race, because he's almost gotten to a few guys and has almost turned Keith Mayato about 3 times. As Mayato now closing into the back of this battle as Baffert gets by Zwack, slides at the racetrack. Zwack tries to get there, won't be able to. And now Mayato goes to pounce on Zwack, almost making a little contact off the corner. They do make a little contact off the corner.
He'll try and make the move potentially down here in turn 3, but Zwack going to shut the door.
Man.
Maybe Mayato tries to pull the old switcheroo and go to the top side, but no, he's stuck in the wake here. Going to cost him a little bit of speed on the exit of the corner. He's going to get very tight there, actually. And here comes Bailey Turner now with some momentum.
I'll tell you, Nelson is kind of falling back, and he's bringing everybody back to him here as Baffert now looking underneath him for the 4th position, but Nelson really starting to drop off pace. That last lap, he was about 0.2 of a second slower than our leader, and he was about a second slower than, he was about a second slower than our leader, and just about 0.2 of a second slower than Ben Baffert. And now Turner and Gemmel are side by side for 8th. Ryan Gemmel showing some pace in that 6 cars. They're side by side with Turner.
Yeah, interesting. Good to see Ryan back. I know he had some real-world racing responsibilities out at Sebring, and had a fun time out there learning the Trans Am car that he was racing in, and really cool to see him doing that real-world stuff. Finally getting some real opportunities.
Hey, he was racing with Joe Nemechek, right?
Yep, he works for Nemco,
yeah.
and big team member over there. So has gotten an opportunity to run a real race car around some awesome racetracks. He's run at Sebring, and yeah, really cool to see what opportunities he's gotten here over the last couple of months. But the battle up further, Willie Nelson, Matthew Zwack side by side, 5th and 6th. Here comes Mayato right to the back of this as well.
Like I said, Nelson just doesn't have the pace anymore. He's kind of falling off here, and you can see Zwack going by here for the 5th position. If he'll send it into 3, Nelson fighting hard on the outside, but now we go back to the battle of the points leader. Ryan Gemmel, Bailey Turner. Turner sliding up the racetrack, and it's allowed Chris Simard, Angelo Ronis, and James Loveland to close in. I'll tell you, Bailey Turner has been side drafting really hard on the 6 car down the straightaway. He's almost got into his left rear there, so he'll send it hard, but you can see Gemmel pinching him down here, and you can see the 24 slides up, the 6 slides up, and now that allows the 77. If Gemmel can get the run down the straightaway, he should be able to clear the 24 after about 2 laps side by side. Bailey Turner is not moving up the field much right now.
Yeah, he started 9th. He's running in 9th. And meanwhile, 2nd place in points is leading the race. He's led the most laps. Here comes Simard now, going to try and take that position away.
Yeah, Turner just does not have the pace. He doesn't have the rotation. Like we said, some guys just don't have they can't get a hold of a tight car, unfortunately. You know, some guys like looser cars, some guys like tighter cars, and sometimes the track and the setup just don't fit your style. And unfortunately, Bailey Turner, it's not fitting his style right now, and he needs to start making some time up.
Yeah, you know, these cars are getting loose, but they're so tight on entry. I think it's more of a push loose, and Gemmel is going to clear Willie Nelson, but he's going to have a big bobble, and Simard will as well. A little push loose right there.
There comes, yeah, Nelson, like I said, Nelson's really starting to fall off his bank. You can see Simard hit the brakes, and Turner having to check up. Nelson, like I said, really starting to fall off right now. He just does not have the rotation or tire left.
Yeah, he's going to be outside the top 10 in a few moments as James Loveland in 11th has closed up. He's making really good time right now. You know, for where he's running on the racetrack, significantly faster than Willie Nelson, and even faster than Bailey Turner right here in front of him.
Baffert going underneath Seth Hatchell for 3rd. He'll pull up side by side. He'll send it into turn 1 there. That'll move Ben Baffert almost up into a podium spot. Hatchell trying to pinch him down, just not going to work. I tell you, Ben Baffert is flying right now.
Yeah, I wonder if he maybe saved a little bit on the first couple of laps, and then he realized, you know, I can just send it here, and he's been doing that ever since. Big gaggle of cars back here. Willie Nelson and Bailey Turner still side by side. Loveland and Ronis behind him.
He's just pinching Turner off the corner there, and Turner finally gets clear of the 22. The 22 getting a run off, not going to be enough. Loveland now closing to the back of the 22. He'll look underneath Willie Nelson, his teammate here for the 10th position. How about Angelo Ronis as well, closing in on this battle. So great to have 20 cars show up here. Really allows for the field to get a little bit spread out, but with more cars on the track to battle for position as Bailey Turner get under fire again from the 22. Loveland goes down a shallower entry to try to poke the nose, get some clean air to it. As you can see, Nelson right tucked up behind Turner, slides up the track, so does Loveland and Ronis. But now Bailey Turner's got about a half second to make up on Chris Simard.
The battle for 2nd is on. Look at Baffert send it way down in the corner. Whoa, almost got into the 35 of Joshua Banks.
Look at how much center speed he has, is what's amazing to me.
He's been 0.2 faster than anybody else on the racetrack the last few laps. The next closest in terms of speed is Keith Mayato. Yeah, it's not even really close. Yusuf Ghali is also not too far off pace from him, but he's got 2 lap fresher tires, and he's got the cleanest air of anybody.
Comes down to the inside here. What does Baffert do? He's going to slide up. Almost gets up into Baffert. It just looks like he gets so tight underneath somebody. Now that's going to allow Hatcher to close up behind as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's trying to diamond the corner. He really sends it down in deep, drifts up, and cuts it back down. But that's going to affect his tires, right? Especially that right front. He's really going to burn that thing off.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's going to not help. You can see he's closing in behind here. Baffert closing in behind Banks here. What can he do? He backs off. You can see how much he backs off the corner, but look at how much he rolls the center compared to Banks here. But Banks kind of takes that air away, takes the wake onto puts the wake onto the nose of the 23, and he just can't seem to rotate enough here. As Baffert now kind of stuck in this bubble as Keith Mayato gets by Matthew Zwack, or trying to get by Matthew Zwack here for 5th, and Zwack looks like he'll let him have it, and that moves Mayato into 5th, and the battle for 2nd still raging on here in front of him, the 35.
Yeah, Banks hanging on to it.
Baffert's going to send it. He's going to slide up the racetrack. He's going to pull even with Banks here.
Yeah, you
what
can
does Hatcher
see.
do? Hatcher can decide who gets this position here. If he pushes the 35 by, or does Baffert try to side draft, just send it in there? Shallow entry for Baffert. He's going to slide up. Banks is going to pinch on the right rear. Baffert's going to get tight, but it looks like he'll get the drive off. Banks can't keep it, and that moves Baffert up into 2nd.
You can just see these guys are dirt tracking it off the corner. It's really interesting to see how these cars have progressed. You know, really tight on entry. Look at Baffert go way up the track.
Seemed like it didn't hurt him much, though. It kind of worked. Like I said, we're talking about that second groove kind of does exist. But can he now run down Adam Cabot in the 17?
Yeah, the gap is
about
just
a second up the road.
Yeah, just about a second. We did have battles further back with Bailey Turner and Willie Nelson. I mean, this is just kind of a train of race cars at the tail end of the top 10. 4 cars in a row with Willie Nelson, James Loveland, and Angelo Ronis. 9 through 12. Nobody able to make any moves or progress there.
Yeah, they're kind of all stuck together. Bailey Turner missed the corner. Now here comes Nelson underneath Turner. It's big for points here. Turner needs to lead a lap as he gets loose off the corner. He just can't do anything. He just doesn't have the grip.
Yeah, really struggling right now is the 24 machine, the points leader. He's got a decent cushion, you know, coming into this race, 13 points, but it's not enough to be comfortable and run in, you know, 9th or 10th position. He's really got to run top 5.
And especially with the guy who's in 2nd behind him in points is leading the race.
And the guy who's in 3rd is running top 5. I mean, they're both gaining points on him, and especially Adam Cabot.
Bristol for sure. And now Bailey Turner has fallen into 10th and almost gets up into the wall. And now he's going to fall outside the top 10.
Yeah, he's going to fall all the way to 12th here as Angelo Ronis will work on by.
Does he hit? I mean, looking at, how much have they fallen? They've fallen off about 2 seconds, I would say. And now Ronis slides at the racetrack, almost gets up into the wall, does brush it, Turner goes to miss. And now Turner underneath Ronis, but he's still not going to be in the top 10, even if he gets by Ronis.
Yeah, just
Can't
struggles.
seem to do anything right now, and he is just, like you said, losing the nose there. I don't know if he's tight. Obviously, everybody dealing with the tight conditions, but he just doesn't seem like he has the right front. And now here comes Reggie Ortega closing in on this battle for the 12th position. And like we said, it's key for the fact that Bailey Turner is the points leader. Now Zwack has lost another spot to Ryan Gamble. Chris Samard starting to close in as well. And Adam Cabot is running up on Jeff Wright, who was involved in that first incident that went around and spun. The caution did not come out for that incident.
Yeah, he is really struggling right now as the 48 of Jeff Wright. Yeah, I know he's looking forward to next season at this point, getting in the Xfinity cars and changing things up. Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull it in here, but he is just missing the corner entirely right now as Baffert closes in. This will hurt Baffert a little bit right there.
Hurt him a little bit for sure. And behind them, Banks has fallen into the clutches of Hatchell and Mayato, slowly but surely running them down. Like you said, Wright just doesn't have any grip here, and he's now 1 lap down. A caution does come out, he would be the free pass car. And I think another thing is, how many laps of fuel can these guys get? I think we saw what I saw was about 55 laps on fuel, I think is what the max is going to be here for these guys tonight.
You'd think they'd want to split it into thirds probably, as Jeff Wright really slow here. He is not going to bring it in.
I think he's kind of just hoping for the caution.
Yeah, he's just letting all these guys by.
He definitely doesn't want to be it. But yeah, those tires are not happy right now. He's just letting everybody go here. Get
Oh
on the
boy.
apron, slide up. He's got to be careful here. Oh, he's got to be really careful.
He's in the grass.
Oh, watch out. Man, I tell you, Bailey Turner is starting. Nick Starling and Reggie Ortega
yeah.
are running him down. Bailey Turner is pitting.
Nick Starling is running faster than a few cars in
great.
front, the next 4 or 5 cars in front. I mean, he's doing a nice job here late in the run.
Oh, Turner's pitting, but he's really loose on entry. He'll make it. He'll have to slow it down. I believe it's 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, so he will just crawl along the pit lane here, fall all the way to the tail end of the lead lap as Adam Cabot now working into turn number 3. He's going to put his teammate a lap down. And Ben Baffert slowly.
Bailey Turner, that's for sure. And this pit road is very weird with the way it is. I believe Turner might have missed his box as well. And he had to back up. He'll now make it in. Jack will come up on the right side. The left and the right side tires will go on. But we'll want to follow Bailey Turner here, at least on the pit exit. And like I said, I think it's about a 10-lap early stop here. So definitely short pitting, trying to make some time up. As I believe Dallas Sullivan has also brought it down pit road. Jeff Wright is still on the racetrack. But now we'll take a look at Bailey Turner as he's exiting pit road here. He'll lose a spot to right, and look at this weird pit exit here. You don't want to merge too early with that blue cone. He'll merge up there, and we saw it in the first inaugural race here for the Cup Series. Tyler Reddick spun off of pit road, and was a caution as now Nick Starling brings it in as Sexton has finally gotten by Dice. Dice having a solid run inside the top 15. And now I believe we're starting to see the pit cycle begin. And before this pit cycle's beginning for the top 5, the battle inside the top 5 is heating up with Hatchell, Banks, and Mayato.
Yeah, those 3 nose to tail. Meanwhile, Baffert is closing in on your race leader. He's down to 6/10 behind Adam Cabot. You can see Gemmel and Zwack are slowly creeping into the top 5 picture as well. They're not too far back, just about 1 second behind Keith Mayato. But we could have a lot of cars within about 4 or 5 seconds, up here inside the top 10. Very competitive race to this point. Alan Dice is going to pull it into the pit lane, the Affinity for Gaming machine, as Nick Starling has gotten off of the pit road as well. He'll cycle in behind Bailey Turner and Dallas Sullivan. Oh, look at
Dice. Really missed it. Now Mayato is pitting.
That is interesting to see. I mean, Keith usually very good on the long run, so maybe he's just banking on this next run to run it all the way out. And
we'll have to see how these strategies really play out, in the sense of how the tires fall off. With Sexton now underneath Ortega, they almost make a little contact for 11th here, and it sounds like Chris Samard bringing it in. When does Adam Cabot or Ben Baffert bring it in? They go by pit road once more. Banks and Hatch will go by one more time. Now Gemmel and Zwack bring it in. Zwack sending it on pit entry. Look at how much time he gained on Gemmel, and he is right on the back bumper. Zwack closes up on now. Samard also closing up, and Gemmel
is pushing him.
Pushing Gemmel down down pit road.
Got to be careful about that. I know there's some new rules, I think, in place here, or there at least are the black flags that can occur from pushing somebody on the pit lane. But Willie Nelson and Angelo Ronas swapping positions.
Yeah, Ronas making some spots up as
Here
well.
comes Hatchell.
Turner jumps Mayato there, but now Mayato stuck in traffic side by side with 2 cars ahead of him there, and it's really going to cost him some time. He'll have to send it up the middle here.
Yeah, he should be able to just drive right on by on turn entry, but it's going to be sketchy.
And that is tough. Mayato has just not had the luck with getting out of there as Gemmel and Zwack race off of pit road. Zwack able to overtake Gemmel. A good stop by the 18 crew, about 1/10 of a second faster. And now the top 2 bringing it in pit road. Wow, look at that sliding. Look at how much time Baffert made up on Cabot on pit entry. Now it's up to the pit crews to see who can do it, as now Joshua Banks stays out and leads a lap.
Yeah, so interesting call here. Angelo Ronas as well. James Loveland staying out a little bit longer. You see Gary Sexton still on the track. Reggie Ortega still out there as well, but everyone else has brought it in. I'll say Gary has done a really nice job recovering from the early slide there to be able to get past Reggie just, on raw pace. He closed up.
Hey, Hey, he's doing a great job, even recovering, going through the grass, kind of hoping for a caution now, at least in the sense. Good pit stop for both of the top two there. Cabot edging out Baffert there. Bailey Turner now will cycle to the lead right now, at least overall. Now Mayato gets by the 17 and 23. Bailey Turner is going to be the new leader once everybody brings it down pit road, which I believe is happening soon. Ronis is the race leader currently, but he'll lose at least a few spots, and once he pits, he will fall back to around the top 10, at least the edge of the top 10, if not just that side. But it seems like Cabot, Baffert jump or stay ahead of Zwack, Hatchell, and Gemmel. But Mayato and Bailey Turner are able to jump Baffert and Cabot.
As here comes,
just leaving.
Yeah, Banks exiting the pit lane. Top three yet to bring it on the pit road, but Bailey Turner is your net leader. Mayato with about 4 lap fresher tires behind him by about 1.5 seconds. So that is the difference, you know, of pitting 4 laps earlier.
Yeah.
You see Cabot now back to third behind those two. So Mayato and Bailey Turner both leapfrogging the 17 and a 23.
Sexton and Ronis is bringing it now. Sexton's the leader here. So the question becomes, honestly, can he lead enough laps and keep Bailey Turner from leading the race until Keith Mayato runs Bailey Turner down? But Mayato is still 2.5 seconds. Bailey Turner will get a bonus point for leading.
Yeah, because Gary's probably going to have to pit here in the next lap or two.
Vega's in, and so is Ronis. I believe Gary Sexton is bringing it in this time. So that'll inherit the lead to Bailey Turner, and Turner will get a bonus point. Talk about a decent rebound so far. Now he's got clean air all by himself right now. How many cars ahead of him?
And Mayato's still 1 second behind him. He is about 2.5 tenths. Yeah, he's about 2.5 tenths faster. Does have a little damage on the car as well, but he's been quicker than Bailey all race. Now Bailey has the track position. That's the one thing he didn't have.
Yeah. If a caution comes out, Bailey Turner's going to be one happy man.
Yeah, it's looking pretty clear right now. Gary Sexton nicely into his box after leading a couple of laps there.
And looking right now, seeing right now at least the big gaggle of cars is Cabot kind of edging away from Baffert here. But then you got Zwack, Satchel, Samard, and Gemmel. Dallas Solon also a decent pit strategy. He's inside the top 10, and then Banks with the freshest tires of anybody in that group. But you look here, that's about the closest battles. You got about 5-6 cars together here, and they're making some time on Bailey Turner, but Keith Mayato is running down Bailey Turner at a quick rate. But at least Bailey Turner is going to lead a lap and get a bonus point, which will move it back up to 12 points of a gap over his teammate Adam Cabot. But when Bailey Turner pitted, he was outside the top 10, and will he cycle outside the top 10 is the question.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, as here comes Mayato. Gonna look to the outside in turn 1. He'll try and take the lead away. A lot fresher tires, a lot more pace, and he's gonna be there along the outside quarter panel. Nice run out of turn 2. Dead even down the backstretch, but it's gonna be the 36 of Mayato, I think, probably taking it away on this end of the speedway. As Bailey tries his best, but the 36 of Mayato just going to clear him.
And that's going to give Keith Mayato a bonus point. He'll make that point up with Bailey Turner here, and he'll be back tied about -14, now -13 being 1 spot ahead of Turner. But if we look behind Turner, we got 5-6 cars behind him that have fresher tires and that are running him down at about 0.3 seconds a lap.
Yeah, Mayato is running about the same speed as those guys, even though he's got about 2 or 3 lap older tires. He does have that too, and I think he's just been faster than Bailey Turner in general. So Bailey, who struggled tonight, I mean, all his hopes are with this strategy is to really just break it into even thirds.
Track position too.
Yeah.
I think the goal is get as much track position as you can. He was running outside the top 10, which would really affect him in points. And if we look right now, look at the top 4 are the top 4 in points.
Yeah, I mean,
those are the 4 guys battling for the championship. Honestly, we should say the championship 4.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of naturally played out that way with the chase. You know, a bunch of these guys have just not had the runs that they need in the first 5 races.
Instead of a playoff. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
We should have a chase instead of a playoff. But I'm glad here in BTDY we do have the chase format, as Bailey Turner now falls into the clutches of his teammate Adam Cabot, and then here comes Ben Baffert, Zwack, Hatchell, and Samart. 5 cars in a train gonna go by Bailey Turner. Turner takes the outside lane. He'll try to cross over Adam Cabot, just doesn't have the tire, and now here comes Baffert with the run. Where does Baffert go? Underneath Turner, and now look at that, 4 cars behind Bailey Turner, and as they blow by Turner on the inside, Turner sees valuable points going away from him.
Meanwhile, it's still going to be a net gain for the moment. He was racing with Willie Nelson and some of those guys in the 10th position, and right now, those cars are still about 4 seconds behind him, so he has still gained a bit. He'll probably make his second pit stop, I would think, in about 25 laps or so.
Yeah.
So he's just got to survive to that point. Racing hard right now with Chris Samard, who gets loose to his inside. And that would be worst case scenario if he gets caught up in something because he's a little bit off pace.
Yeah, you can see he's just letting him go here. Now Samart's going to cost Samart a little bit of time. Samart misses the corner trying to get by Turner, but Turner's now hanging on to 8th here. He's got Gemmel, who's running about 0.8 of a second faster, and he's got Banks, who's running on the freshest tires in the field. Nelson's got the same tires, so he'll probably stay inside the top 10 here, but he's definitely fallen back a lot, though. Or he's fallen back from his points rivals, I should say. If he can get 9th, but he really can't have Mayato, Cabot, or Baffert win. They're going to gain a ton of points on him.
Yeah, I mean, he just lost a half second to Keith Mayato and even more to Adam Cabot. Ryan Gemmel running some nice laps here. Joshua Banks is flying right now on the freshest tires of anyone. We also saw Jeff Wright make a second pit stop, I believe.
No, he made one. He's made one.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was just a late pit stop in the cycle there.
It was Sexton that came in again.
Yeah, he's brought it in twice now, so he is 2 laps down, along with Jeff Wright. Yusuf Ghali is 3 laps down.
I think Ghali's got the freshest tires in front of me on the track. Oh, no, other than Sexton and Wright, but right now, and also the Adam Cabot is going to go by Keith Mayato here for the lead.
So that's the difference.
He's on rails.
He is strong here tonight. Baffert has not been able to keep up with him here, but he might be trying to save a little bit.
Mayato's fighting him too, and that's going to allow Baffert to creep up a little bit as Mayato doesn't lead the lap, or no, he did lead the lap. Takes another lap away from Cabot, but Cabot sends it up the inside, gets a little time out, taking that air away, but Cabot with the tire advantage is going to go right by on the inside. Cabot back up to the point in that 17 Atlas machine, trying to take the championship point lead away from his teammate Bailey Turner, who rides in 9th and is falling back to the clutches of Jeff Wright, who's a lap down, but he's got over a 1.5 second gap over Willie Nelson, who he was battling with, but Nelson is closing on him at an alarming rate. If Turner finishes outside the top 5 and Adam Cabot can win this race, we will have almost a dead even tie for points. As Hatchell goes by Zwack for the 4th position, now Hatchell in the 8 car moves up to 4th. And if we really look at it as well, talk about the other points battles. Within the points battles, Hatchell's trying to make up some spots on Brody Hayes and AJ Stravato. Banks is going to have a comfortable lead over Hatchell, but at least battling for the 6th position in points. Oh! Ghali.
Wow, close call right there. Samard and Ghali, those two have had they've been going at it, I know, in the Discord a little bit, but it's more in good fun, I think, than anything. It's just Chris has gotten collected by the 54 a few times.
And that was almost the caution that Bailey Turner was hoping for.
I wonder if Yusuf is just kind of messing with him right now.
Oh, no, they are going at it right now. I know Ghali's 3 laps down, but Samard is on the lead lap there, so I'm thinking Samard probably wanted a little more room, and he lost a ton of track position. He's lost about 2 seconds as Baffert now goes by Mayato for 2nd. Mayato won't retaliate to Baffert getting into him 3 times. He did once, and I feel like it kind of cost Mayato some time. Mayato can hold inside the top 10, or top 5. I think he should be fine for the next round of pit stops here, which will be coming up probably in about 25-30 laps. And I think the real question, Bailey Turner, he is falling back quick, and Willie Nelson is running Turner down, and Turner is he just doesn't have the pace. This is probably the worst case scenario for Bailey Turner, who's been so stout these last, these first 5 races in the chase. It seemed like he was almost untouchable. He had such a great run he had a great run in Atlanta. He had a all-right run at Homestead, and then just went on a tear, winning 2 of the last 3 races, getting 2nd at Road America, or sorry, 3rd at Road America. He's been on a tear lately, And this so far is looking like his worst performance so far, and probably what could be the most crucial race of this season. As Banks goes by Samard, and now Samard falling into the clutches of his teammate Ryan Gimmel.
Yeah, it's not the best race to pick to have a not so stout performance, because we've got a bigger field than we've had the last few weeks.
Exactly,
so there's more cars out there that you can lose points to. And yeah, he is definitely struggling right now. Here comes Willie Nelson. Gonna have to try and work past the 48 first and then the 24.
And Wright's got way fresher tires than both of these guys. Will he go by? Will he let them go? It seems like he's trying to make up as much time as he can. He is the first car lap down. See, he's just kind of pushing Bailey Turner down the straightaway here. And now Turner trying to cover. Where does Wright go? I think Wright's kind of just defending Bailey Turner here. But I think he's going to try to go by here. And if not, he's just trying to let these guys race.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. They are teammates, right?
They are not.
Oh, they are
that
not.
I know of. Yeah, I don't know. They're good friends, though.
Yeah, so that's an interesting
Willie
situation.
Nelson's probably not liking this, but Turner's got way older tires. Just can't seem to hold up right now.
Yep.
As Ronis and Sullivan trade spots here, and Ronis goes by Sullivan for the 12th position. Starling slowly but surely running down Dallas Sullivan, turning about even lap times there. Everybody else, though, decent on pace here. Ronis does have the freshest tires in the entire field, so interesting to see. I think we're going to have at least one more pit stop, maybe, and I don't think we'll have another one after this, though.
Yeah, I think just one more, and
honestly,
we had no cautions tonight. That's incredible.
I know. There should have been one with Wright and Sexton.
Yeah.
But looking at what I'm seeing right now, how many laps was their last stint? I think it was about 50 laps.
Yeah, I think a couple drivers went about 55. Bailey Turner went about 43 or 44, so he's trying to split it dead even into thirds.
Yeah. Will it work for Turner? I don't know. That's
I don't know.
An interesting strategy.
It's not working right now.
Wright is Bailey Turner's best friend right now. Wright is kind of helping Bailey Turner along here. Stay away from Willie Nelson.
I'll say James Loveland is really tracking those guys down very quickly. He's about 3 or 4 tenths a lap faster.
About a half second faster than Bailey Turner.
Yeah, meanwhile, up in the front of the field, Ben Baffert closing up on Adam Cabot. You see Yusuf Ghali also closing in on that group, trying to get one of his 3 laps back.
Cabot's going to be running into some lap traffic here with Eddie Trejo. Does that affect the handling on the 17? You can see Trejo's about 3 seconds up the road, but could be a factor in if Baffert can use Trejo as a pick. Maybe as he gets later maybe if not, he can just pass him on the pace he has. Baffert about almost 100 faster than Cabot, but he's slowly but surely gaining a few tenths of a second faster. But you can see Baffert gets in that wake and he loses the nose. Baffert's gonna have to try to find a way to maneuver around the dirty air and get by. And it seems right now, looking at the way the tires are shaping out, it honestly looks like Ben Baffert and Adam Cabot are the class of the field tonight, as they have left Keith Maiato and Seth Hatchell. Hatchell is trying to battle his teammate for third.
Yeah, and I don't know if Seth is going to battle all that hard. I think he knows what's on the line for Keith here, as Matthew Zwack brushes the wall there. But
Zwack's going to fall off, and I'll tell you, obviously we know the guy with the fresh tires is Joshua Banks. Can his strategy work? He's the fastest car on the racetrack right now. He's way faster than Zwack. If he can put some good laps together, he's 4 seconds behind the leaders, but it's possible if they get to battling that Banks can make up some time.
Yeah, meanwhile, Bailey Turner still in front of Willie Nelson, the 48, kind of, playing defense. James Loveland has closed up another 6 tenths on these guys, so he's now within a second of Willie Nelson. He'll get in the mix there pretty soon, and Angelo Ronis coming right with him.
Yeah, Ronis and Loveland are going to be players in this fight as well. They might help Willie Nelson. Jeff Red's going to help Bailey Turner, but if Nelson can shuffle out right, I think, that gives him a better opportunity of getting Turner, and he kind of is. He's blinking out now, and he'll let by Nelson. Now it'll give Nelson a chance to attack Bailey Turner. But I'll tell you, Chris Samard is falling back to Bailey Turner and Willie Nelson.
Oh yeah, he is really struggling. I wonder if he's made some contact. No, the car looks good. Just had the close call with Yusuf. I think he may have a little right front damage. I thought I saw maybe a little crinkle there on the fender, but
doesn't have the pace. Might have burned off the tires a little too early in the run. And honestly, for Bailey Turner, who's had clean air most of this run, if he gets tucked up behind Nelson, behind Samard, it could allow Nelson to attack, and it could allow Loveland and Ronis to kind of run them back down. And if we look, honestly, we've seen it all race. Kind of is these guys being so tight with each other throughout the I'd say the 8th to 10th position or 8th to 12th position as Hatchell takes third away from his teammate Keith Mayato. But we see that 8th to 12th position be a tight battle with Bailey Turner being in the mix. As now Nelson is close up, and I know it's a battle for ninth, but it's very important for the championship fight for the BTDY Cup. It could honestly be a chance at Bailey Turner, a championship slipping away from Bailey Turner as Jeff Wright trying to interfere with the battle and push Bailey Turner by, and he's able to do that. Got
to be careful though to not turn him around because he is significantly faster, but he goes way up the racetrack, nearly into the wall. But I mean, he's gonna be able to hang.
He's helping Bailey Turner as Gemmel gets by Zwack here. And that'll move Zwack back down as Baffert now side by side with Adam Cabot for the race lead.
And here comes Yusuf Ghali right into the mix at this time as well. I mean, he's been right here battling with these guys all race, but he's been 2 laps behind them.
He's got way fresher tires. I think he's going to let these guys sort it out. Then he'll try passing for the lead. But like we said, fourth and second in the championship battle. Baffert really needing the win a lot more than Adam Cabot. Both need the win as Cabot slides up the racetrack now. Here comes Baffert down to the inside, trying to fight away. Yusuf Ghali, what does he do? A lap car. Now Eddie Trejo, another lap car in the mix as well.
Yeah, and Eddie is on basically even tires with these guys, so he's not going to be faster like Yusuf is. So if he gets in the way for very long, this could really affect things.
Baffert's going to be able to clear Cabot. Bliss tries to cross over. Baffert throws the block. Now way shallower entry for Baffert. What is Cabot? Does Cabot try to pinch? Baffert misses the apex of the corner. Cabot can't do it. Baffert to the point. Cabot getting a big run. Baffert slides out the corner. Now here comes Cabot down to the inside.
Almost into the grass. And then he's going to have to cut it really tight here.
He's got to be careful.
Contact there. Here comes Trejo.
Trejo's going to really hold up Baffert. Now Cabot crosses over 3 wide with the lap car.
Oh, man, this is so tight.
Trejo's going to try to do his best to stay out, but it's going to get tight up before they're going to door bang. Here comes Trejo now. Gets out of the way. Ghali now tucks in behind Baffert, and now he'll push Baffert down the front stretch.
Wow, this is getting crazy here for the race lead. Lap 85 up on the board. We're going to start to see some drivers probably pull it into pit road in the next few laps for their final pit stop, barring any cautions.
He's going to be one of those guys, as he has fallen back to the clutches of just about everybody, as Jeff Wright has really helped Bailey Turner get by Chris Simard, who's fallen back outside the top 10 into 12th. But this battle for the lead is still raging on. Can Baffert get another chance at Cabot? Cabot's got clean air. No car in sight here for Cabot.
Yeah, meanwhile, as these two battle like that, Hatchell is maintaining about 2 seconds behind. Don't count out Seth Hatchell. He might be able to find a way here in the last part of this race to close up the gap. He has been pretty good on the long run tonight.
And if Hatchell were to win, that would be 10 different winners in a single season for BTDY, which would be the record. And add to the record, actually.
Yeah, and Hatchell, being the regular season champion, you know, he'd love to get a win, you know, just to add to that. Obviously, a little too far out to win the full championship here, but, you know, can at least put that on his resume.
Oh, man. Baffert's going to try to force Cabot into a mistake here, as I believe Matthew Zwack.
Yeah, he might have fallen through.
Dropped out. He has.
We'll see if he...
And that's going to help Bailey Turner.
Yeah, that's another spot. Here comes Baffert, sends it down low. Cabot goes to defend, kind of misses the corner a little bit.
Oh, no, he's not.
I think he is having some connection problems for sure.
Out. And now Zwack has fallen out, which puts Bailey Turner up to 7, continuing to gain points, but he's pitting. Oh, he missed pit road!
No, I think he made it.
He barely made it, but he's going to go really fast on the entry, but he costed himself some time, it seemed.
Yeah, he was
really wide.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? James Loveland was right there on his tail and was about to make a move on him.
And now Baffert is on Adam Cabot here. Ghali has kind of fallen off and letting these guys race. Hats off to Yusuf Ghali letting these guys race for the lead. He knows what's on the line. A championship is on the line as Baffert now uses the apron here. Dice exiting pit road. Baffert closes up on the back bumper of Cabot. Cabot misses the apex. So does Baffert. Does Baffert get a chance to get underneath the 17?
Good run there.
Oh,
Here
he
comes
wiggled.
Dice out of
Oh,
pit road, right
Dice.
into the middle of all of this.
And look at
Oh
Baffert with
boy!
the send. Backs out. Dice blows around the outside of both, and they both missed the corner. Baffert now underneath Cabot. Dice on the outside.
Oh man, the timing
Dice
with
keeps it
Alan
wet.
Dice exiting pit road, and there's more cars up in front too. So this is
Dice has got to be careful in this battle. Now Baffert sends it underneath Cabot. Dice clears them both. They both slide up the racetrack. Here comes Gully. And I'll tell you, Seth Hatchell is coming quick.
yeah, still about 2 seconds back, but now side by side for the lead. Lap 90 on the board. Ben Baffert trying to take it away.
Oh, he's going to get tight underneath. They're going to make a little contact. Cabot's going to have to pinch him out the corner. Baffert slides up again. No contact off the corner. Cabot pulling even with Baffert. Baffert tries to pinch him down the straightaway. Side draft from the 30 or the 23. Ascend into turn 1. What does Gully do? Baffert tight in the corner. And look at Adam Cabot pinch the 23 on the inside.
Oh man, and they're both sliding out of the corner. Yusuf Kali right here behind him. And the gap back to third, actually not closing at all. It's still 2.1. These guys running about the same lap time side by side as they were single file. But man, this is some tight racing here. Good battle for the lead. Is Baffert gonna be able to clear him? He still hasn't led a lap, I believe.
He has yet to lead a lap. And I'll tell you, these two cannot afford, I know it's important, but these two cannot afford to get into a wreck or wreck each other here as Cabot slides at the racetrack. Baffert able to clear the 17 this time. Can he hold on to the lead? Cabot with the trying to switcheroo on him. Not going to work. Baffert into the lead, but he kind of missed the corner on Apex there. And now Cabot gets one more crack at it. Just not going to be enough. He'll slide up in the wake, and Ben Baffert goes to the point, and he'll for sure lead this lap.
But Cabot is not done. He's going to cut down across the apron, right at the back bumper into turn 1. Lap 93 goes up on the board. Ben Baffert is now, he has led a few laps actually. So I'm not sure.
He has.
Not sure where that was, but either way, 4 laps led for the 23. And Cabot going to try and close back up. Hatchell has lost a couple tenths. I think he's stuck in the wake of Eddie Trejo back there. So that's kind of slowing him down a little bit at this point in the run. Still waiting.
Yeah.
Here comes.
Oh, Gully smacks the wall.
Oh man, Willie Nelson has brought it onto pit road, but he will have service started on the number 22 car. And we've also seen Dallas Sullivan and a handful of other cars bring it in. Waiting for these leaders.
Turner, man, Turner's in deep traffic too.
Oh yeah,
and it seems like Yusuf Ghali is bringing it in. I think he broke the toe link on that car, broke something in the suspension.
He will bring it down towards the pit lane. Yeah, that car is crab walking right now really badly, is the 54. So that's going to be the end of the day for Yusuf Ghali, who started pretty much on pit lane in this race.
Yeah.
Not sure what happened there.
And how much can Baffert pull away from Cabot? How can Cabot can keep it close? You know, there's still a pit stop to go. We're about 10 laps. If Cabot can keep it 10 laps closer here, he should have a shot. At least maybe if he can gain up to the back bumper of Baffert, he cannot let Baffert slip away here. And I'll tell you, Bailey Turner is fast right now. He's in 12th, outside the top 10, cannot afford a caution. If caution comes out right now, he's going to be in a deep hole.
Yeah, he would be pretty much screwed at that point. So he is hoping this thing goes green. He just wants to get out of here with the best finish he can. He was running about 7th, I think, when he brought it into pit lane. So he'll be hoping to try and finish around there as he's got Ryan Gemmel in front of him, the 6th place car on track, but Bailey is a lap down for the moment. But Cabot starting to lose touch. Is he going to bring it in here anytime soon?
I don't know. What does he do? I mean, he's going to have about a 45 laps to go here, or about almost, 45 laps to go in this race here. You know, we're going to have a 30-lap shootout to the end here. I mean, we're going to have a 30-lap run to the end here. That's not many laps.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
if he's able to go to 100, if he can stretch to 100, it's just a 35. It's just a 30-lap stint.
Yeah, that is definitely short. I mean, they've gone about 48 for Keith Maioto, 45 or so for mostly everybody else.
But if he could just keep in touch with Baffert here, I know it's tough. He's really pushing the tires. If he can just make another 2 or 3 laps, I think it's possible for him to maybe undercut Baffert and get by. If he can pin him by 1 lap, it'll force Baffert's hand to pit. But he can at least keep it in touch. Oh, we got trouble. Ryan Gemmel on the front stretch. Might have spun on the entry of pit road.
Let's take a look here. It looks like...
I think he did, yeah. Transition.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm surprised that wasn't a caution.
Yeah, he came to nearly a complete stop there. It's going to cost him a...
Maldo's bringing it in.
Yeah, not a surprise.
And Cabot has brought it in as well. Cabot
Oh,
is
boy.
pitting.
That may
Now
be
the race is
enough.
on. What does Ben Baffert, probably he's got to bring it in now.
I think so. It's about 2-second fall off. You know,
Yeah, he's got to bring it in. And Baffert is, their team's telling him he's got to come in. And he does. Cabot now does it. He's got to have a nice clean pit stop, gets into the box well. What does Baffert do on pit road? Sends it really loose. He's got to make it. He cannot afford a mistake here. Baffert nice and easy on a pit road. That'll give the lead to Seth Hatchell. Joshua Banks into second. As Cabot now leaving pit road, a solid 14.6 second pit stop. Not the pit stop he was hoping for. Mayato also a 14.6. What can Baffert do? Down pit road here. Loveland bringing it in as well. Baffert nice and easy into his stall. What is his pit stop time?
as there goes Gemmell now, works off of the pit lane. Hatchell and the rest of the top 5, I believe, yet to bring it in
Cabot
this
is
one.
rounding off a turn 4 here. Baffert just leaving his box now. Cabot up at full song. Baffert still in pit road. Now at the commitment cone. Can Cabot beat Baffert through the access road? Cabot is coming quick. Can he get the lead away? He's at full song. He'll go by Baffert off of pit road.
And there goes Ben Baffert, going to get back up to speed. Dallas Sullivan is also going to pass him for the moment.
But not now, as now
Yeah.
it looks like Cabot has gotten a second lead over Ben Baffert. Bailey Turner should cycle the lead, but he's got 13 lap older tires.
Yeah, but how far up the road is he? Let's take a look. Exiting turn 2.
About 5 seconds up the road. He's got Jeff Wright helping him.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Eddie Trejo really slow as these guys go by. He has yet to make his stop.
Turner would love a caution right now if a caution would have come out.
Yeah,
As
Reggie
Banks now leaving pit road.
Ortega and Trejo, the last two to bring it in here, as Reggie is leading right now. His first opportunity to lead a lap today.
Man, I tell you, we got a battle on our hands as Hatchell brought it in, now leaving pit road. Now here comes Ortega in. Adam Cabot able to short pit Ben Baffert here. How do they save tires? Do they save tires? There is less than 30 laps to go in this dialed in 180, and tell you, this has been nothing but short on action here. We have had action all race.
Yeah, Adam Cabot has led 72 out of 102 laps today, as Reggie Ortega is going to bring it in. That'll give the lead to Bailey Turner, who's now led 3 laps in this race, and he's still got Jeff Wright all over him. And he's helping him along. He's giving him a draft down the straightaway where Bailey is kind of lacking in speed tonight. The 48 is giving him a little boost in some ways here. So interesting to see those two working together like this. But Adam Cabot, he's seeing that 23 get closer and closer in the mirror. And Baffert is there. And Willie Nelson is also starting to battle with Keith Mayato. Looks like Keith may have taken a position away, actually move him into 4th. Trying to do everything he can to gain points. Long ways to go to get up to the next drivers in the top 3. Alec, are you still with me?
Yeah, sorry, I am here looking, just calculating stuff here. Honestly, I think Mayato's got himself in a position here. Oh, man, I tell you, Baffert loses that nose in the wake here. And honestly, looking at it, I think Mayato could be able to get 3rd here. Where does Bailey Turner cycle out? He's going to be on 17-lap-old tires here. Looking, if I do my calculations right, he's going to have over 40 laps on his tires.
Yeah, I mean, he got way more laps. He's got over 11 laps more than Cabot.
Battle on our hands here. Here comes Baffert. Remember, this battle, they got to last 25 laps on their tires. Can they do it? These guys are going to be going at it here. Does Baffert decide to be more aggressive with Cabot? He's been aggressive all race. Is Cabot trying to save back a little? He's stuck in the wake. He pushes up the racetrack, tries to block the air. Cabot now under attack from Baffert. Baffert makes a contact as they're side by side and they're running up on Bailey Turner and Jeff Wright.
Yeah, this is going to get very interesting because
Cabot's going to use them both as a pick here.
Jeff Wright giving a big draft to the 24 and contact. Baffert clears.
Right in front of Adam Cabot moves him up the racetrack. He gets stuck behind Bailey Turner. Turner gets loose. There's contact. Turner gets moved up the racetrack. Now Cabot blocked all the way down to the apron. Turner now. Cabot now trying to get away from Baffert. Baffert misses the corner. Here comes Cabot back at it, but Baffert holds on to the lead.
Wow, what a battle. That was so aggressive by Ben Baffert, but it works out for him for the moment.
Turner got used up.
Yeah, and
now Cabot or Turner's going to lose stuff to Bailey Turner here.
Yeah, you see Reggie Ortega as well trying to unlap himself. He's got fresher tires than the leaders, so he should be able to get up there and take that lap back. And he'll throw a wrench in the plans of Ben Baffert, who's out in front and has the clean air for the moment.
Abbott, he's got a lap older tire. Is it going to affect him as much as we may not have thought? Honestly, it seems like it is. Baffert, even with one lap, is able to get by him here. Is Cabot saving, and is Baffert pushing too hard right now? Still 20 laps to go. We've seen at the end of races, Baffert pushes tires too hard and allowing Cabot to stay with him.
Yeah, that could be the case. I think Ben is pushing really hard right here.
It really is.
And I think Cabot is just being a little bit more conservative with his pace. He hasn't overshot the turns, really. He's been very gradual on turn exit, trying not to pinch down too much. Letting the car kind of naturally roll out. And
Turner's going to lose another spot to Keith Mayato.
Yeah, he'll take that position away. So the three drivers trying to track him down in points now currently running in front of him. All of them have led laps as well. So they're all even in that respect. But yeah, Bailey losing points to those drivers. He'll have to hope that he can hang on to a few more spots here. But Willie Nelson about 3 seconds behind, running about the same pace. And you got Joshua Banks and Seth Hatchell about a second a lap faster, closing in quickly.
Yeah, I think with how it's looking, Turner will probably lose he'll at least lose another 2 spots.
Yeah,
and
Dallas
he might lose 3 to Loveland if he loses enough to Loveland. I'll tell you, Bailey Turner somehow can win this. If he can still win this championship, he owes a big thank you to Jeff Wright, who's pretty much saved him from falling outside the top 10.
Yeah, he's been like the last line of defense for him all race here since.
They're not even teammates.
Yeah, here comes Gary Sexton, who is 3 laps down, trying to work his way back to 2 laps down. He'll go to the outside of those 2 drivers, and he's got very fresh tires. He just pit 1 lap ago, so he will be able to get up there and race past the leaders. This
could be interesting with Ortega here.
Yeah, these guys are going to play a role in this race. Because they're going to start to fall off, and then they'll kind of be right in front of Ben Baffert, I think.
Yeah. Ortega kind of hurt Cabot a little bit more than it did Baffert, but Ortega's going to fight Baffert hard to get this lap back.
Yeah, because this will get him back onto the lead lap, which gives him at least a shot at a win, if anything does happen here.
That Ortega just doesn't push him down the straightaway, and it looks like he won't. It's going to affect Baffert into turn 3 here. This could be Cabot's time to pounce.
Yeah, Reggie goes to the inside, and Cabot is going to close up significantly right there. He gets back to about a car length and a half out of turn 4. They're closing in on 15 laps to go in this race. It is crunch time for Ben Baffert and Adam Cabot.
And Baffert can't get too concerned with Ortega being ahead of him. He's just got to save his tires here and hold off. The only person that matters on this racetrack right now is Adam Cabot.
Yeah, Mayato is too far back. His tires are the same age as Adam Cabot, so I don't think he's going to have a shot at it. I don't think Joshua Banks or Seth Hatchell, they're 6.5 seconds back. With fresher tires by just a couple laps, it's not going to be enough. No, it's really just these 2.
Yeah, and Banks and Hatchell are going at it right now for 5th. It looks like Hatchell goes underneath Banks here for the 5th position, and he'll try to take it away. And they're running up on Bailey Turner at a quick rate here, about 0.6 of a second faster.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything that Jeff Wright can do to slow these 2 down. Yeah, he is significantly slower.
Jeff Wright has helped Bailey Turner immensely. It's not even funny. He's probably saved Turner about a good 3 or 4 seconds on the racetrack, without a doubt.
Yeah, as Hatchell is going to drive right on by Joshua Banks. As I think Wright actually caught the wall right there.
That's going to leave Bailey Turner alone for a little bit here, probably for like a lap or 2.
Yeah, and Hatchell's just going to go underneath. He should be able to drive right on past, and he'll bring Joshua Banks with him. Probably the next end of the racetrack.
Yeah, and Bailey Turner's got 28 laps. He's going to have to go another 15 more. It's going to put him about 43 laps, I think.
Yeah, exactly. The last third of the race. He went a little bit longer or a little shorter in the middle stint there, which I think saved him some time ultimately.
It's going to allow Jeff Wright to get right back up to him now.
Here comes Joshua Banks trying to complete the pass. He will. So that moves Bailey Turner back to 6th. Willie Nelson is still 3.5 seconds back. James Loveland is still about that distance as well.
The only car that can run down Bailey Turner is probably Willie Nelson. Or, sorry, James Loveland at this rate.
Yeah, he's about a half second quicker and take him about 7 or 8 laps to get there at that pace. So we'll see if he does get there. And
putting together a good race. I also think Gemmell kind of hurt himself spinning on the pit road as well. He was battling with Turner and was actually a little bit faster than him during that last stint. Oh, man.
Jeff Wright slams the wall right there, but able to keep it rolling.
Wright's car enough to where it breaks it, and that would be detrimental to Bailey Turner right now. As Baffert is opening up an 0.8 of a second lead. Will it close up? We got lap cars ahead with Sexton and Ortega, but Sexton's got a lot fresher tires than both of these guys, so I think he'll be able to he won't be a factor. Because Ortega slip back and can follow to him.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ben Baffert, so good at Iowa and also at Richmond, was very fast there. And this track, not exactly like those, but it has some characteristics with how hard you get on the brakes, and ultimately the shape of the track is kind of, it's just like a big version of one of those.
It really is, yeah.
But a much higher speed version.
That's for sure.
Yeah, they're hitting speeds of 170 or so down into turn 1, which is significantly faster than either Iowa or Richmond. Is looks like Ryan Gemmell is going to complete the pass on Dallas Sullivan to move back into the top 10. Chris Samard also closing up. Oh,
man, Dallas, good save.
Yeah, Gemmell had a huge hit to the outside wall though, right in front of all of that.
Yeah.
We'll keep it going here.
Break his car there. It definitely might have affected. Samard got by Dallas Sullivan there. Nick Starling running a lot faster, or a few tenths of a second off, a little bit faster than Dallas Sullivan that those last few laps. But like I said, the field now kind of getting spread out here. Cabot's still 0.7 of a second behind, but there's only 10 laps to go. When does he start pushing is the question. And look, you can see there's some traffic, and that's probably going to be his best shot at running Ben Baffert back down if he saved enough tire. If not, it seems like Baffert just running about 1/10 of a second faster each lap.
Yeah, let's take a look at the times this time across. Cabot 1/10 faster that time.
Yeah, will Baffert start feeling the effects of the air? Did he push his tires too hard as well? 9 laps to go. Cabot still has some time. If he can get to him, that's one thing. Can he pass him? I don't think Cabot's going to be afraid of using the bumper.
Yeah, I think he's seen how the 23 has used the bumper tonight, and he's even used it on the 17. So he may be willing to pay that back. Gets a little bit loose that time through 3 and 4, but able to close up a few hundredths, I think, this lap. It's not going to be enough, though. 700ths that time. He's going to need a little bit more than that if he wants to get there. And that is going to be the battle for the win, and that's going to be, you know, it's a couple point swing either way, especially for Adam Cabot, seeing Bailey Turner potentially going to come home in 6th. Yeah,
that's definitely going to help Turner, or Cabot. If he can win it, it'd cut the deficit in half, at least in points. And he's closing up on Baffert here. He's only a 0.5 a second back now.
He got really loose, but
we got Alan Dice and Reggie Ortega as well, kind of falling back. Dice is going to be the last car they'll probably get to for the caution, or before, unless a caution comes out, or unless Ortega or Sexton have an incident here. This is going to be Cabot's last shot, and it seems like Baffert's going to start filling the wake here.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Dice kind of being in the mix again. He was in the mix when he came off of pit road, and now at the end of the race, he's about to be in the mix again. Look at Baffert really starting to struggle. He just lost a ton of time through that section of the racetrack, down to about 4/10 across the stripe. Yeah, he was about 1/10 slower again, so this is exactly what Cabot needs. He needs lap traffic. He needs to put down some good, clean laps here. Try and keep the nose with some clean air.
Right up on Starling, too. There'll be 5 laps to go here in the dialed-in 180 here from the Nashville Superspeedway. Music City has not disappointed here tonight. And can Adam Cabot run down Ben Baffert? Baffert stuck in the wake of Alan Dice, one of the lap cars. The gap remaining about even, but now Baffert will have a chance here if he can get by Dice. He puts at least a 1-car gap on Adam Cabot, but Dice fighting for his lap. Bafford's going to get by, and now he's got a one-car length. He's got a one-car advantage. One car separating between Cabot and Bafford here for the win.
Yeah,
and they're running up on Nick Starling as well.
5 laps to go. Here goes Cabot, going to try and clear the 5 through the corner, and he will do so nice and clean, but the gap not able to be closed at all by the 17. So Bafford hanging on to it, and Nick Starling next one up the road. Let's see if he plays a factor here. 4 laps to go. The gap just over 0.4 of a second. Cabot's going to have to lay down some incredible laps. Look at the exit out of turn 2. He closes up now about 1/10 of a second, just right there alone. You have to
Whatever's
really
left of
start.
his tires, he's got to use it. And Bafford's starting to slide that back end around. Cabot's got a chance. Remember, if he can just get close to Bafford going into the one of the corners, he can move him out of the way. 3 laps to go.
The gap under 0.3 of a second. Adam Cabot going to try and do it in dramatic fashion. He hasn't won since the second race of the season, and he's trying to do it again here in dramatic fashion like he won both of those. 3 laps to go. The lap machine of Nick Starling right in front of these two. Is he going to roll out of the way, or is he going to be a big factor? Bafford slow in the center. Cabot missed the corner a little bit. Coming back to 2 to go. It might just be...
going to stay out of the way.
Man, it might just be too much for Adam Cabot. Ben Bafford's run an incredible race.
Cabot kind of missed his entry there. It's going to cost him a little bit of time on exit. If he can gain it back on the straightaway, he'll have the draft. We'll be coming to the white flag. 1.5 laps to go. Can Ben Bafford hold on?
Gonna have to watch for the send by the 17 as Cabot gets a nice entry. What's it gonna do for him on exit of turn 4? He closes up just a bit. He'll have a little more draft. White flag in the air for Ben Bafford, looking for his 3rd win of the season. And Cabot also looking for his 3rd.
It doesn't look like Cabot has enough. Bafford misses the corner. This is going to give Cabot an opportunity. Could it be the choke for Bafford? Here comes Adam Cabot on his back bumper. Fakes to the inside. He'll be giving him a bumper shot into 3. Cabot sends Bafford into the corner. He moves him up the racetrack. The bump and run for Cabot. Bafford shoved up the racetrack side by side for the win at Nashville. Cabot gets Bafford at the line.
Wow, what a finish. Cabot, another photo finish to add to his already 2 that he has this season. The first 2 races, he took the checkered flag, and he finally gets back to victory lane here. And what points deficit. What a battle, though.
Chop it in half. What a finish from Nashville. Adam Cabot gets his 3rd win. The Magic Man does it in the Music City. What a race. And that doesn't show you great racing. What a race.
Man, we had no cautions in this race, and it came down to a bump and run.
The bump and run for Adam Cabot does it.
Wow.
What a finish.
All right, we're going to go back and take a look here. Just a replay of this one. And what a race tonight.
And honestly, Bafford had that race won. He just messed up.
He did. It was all in the bag.
Pressure. He just messed it up right there. He just overshoots the entry of the corner, and he slides up. I think it's the next lap because that's off of turn 1 and 2. This is with 2 to go. It's a 1.5 laps here. We'll fast forward a little bit. We get to the white flag. Cabot's got a chance, at least if he did an unbelievable send. But look at into 1. Bafford just he overcooks the corner. He missed his apex. And Cabot hit it just right enough to get an exit off the corner and be in striking distance. Like I said, all he needed to do was be in striking distance. Bafford knew the move that was coming, and Cabot sent it in there, use Bafford up, moves him up the track, and then it's just use him up here, give him the fender, feeds him a fender off the corner. Bafford tries to side draft him, but it's just not enough. He cuts it behind, makes contact with the 17, and that gives Cabot the win.
You know,
he allowed the mistake to happen, and you gave him a chance. That's just not enough. You cannot give Adam Cabot a chance.
Yeah, he will take that chance, and he will run with it and take the checkered flag while he's at it, as he does it here at Nashville. You know what's interesting about this? I know we've talked to Adam a few times this season, and he said that Ben Bafford taught him how hard you could hit a car without turning them. So he used what he learned from Ben on Ben to get the win here tonight. So What a
What a
finish.
race. It doesn't disappoint. These guys just don't disappoint.
Yeah, they just continue to put on incredible shows for us to watch. Hope you enjoyed tonight's race. We're going to interview the top 3 in just a moment after a quick word from tonight's sponsors. Back at the racetrack now, we're going to be pulling in third place finisher here tonight. And that is Keith Mayato. Keith, this is Adam and Alec in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, Keith, you limit the damage here tonight. You come in to the race, third in the standings. You outperform Bailey Turner, gain a few points on him. You see Adam Cabot does get the win, but either way, you're going to gain points on the points leader. And a nice solid finish for you. Just kind of describe the race from your perspective. No cautions or anything. It kind of ran how you wanted it, I would think.
It did. The beginning of the race was a little bit messy for me. I ended up getting like 10 seconds of damage from all the contact. I don't know if it was all right side, maybe left side. I have no idea. But I think if I didn't have all that with Ben on the front stretch, which was my fault, I just didn't give him any room. But being doored up a few times, moved up the track, and then hitting the wall, falling back. I think if I didn't have all that, I probably would have been battling up with those two guys. So good run nonetheless. I recovered from falling back quite a bit. Luckily, the short stints helped out in the long run and got me up into third place.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be important to gain as many points as you did here. You lead 7 laps, so you get some bonus points for that. And we just have 2 races remaining in the chase. We go to Bristol next week. How do you feel about going out there and duking it out with these guys at the Coliseum?
If we get long green runs, I'll enjoy it. I think if it's the short stuff, it's going to be a little chaotic. But the way the last few races have gone, I don't know what's going to happen. Just hope for the best and hopefully have cleaner races than the rest of the competition.
Yeah, I mean, you finished on the podium here the last couple of weeks and really done your best to stay in this championship hunt. And it's probably going to be a little bit less than 10 points, headed into the last 2 races. So you're in the fight. You got your opportunity for a first championship here with these guys. But third place tonight, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Dial In Racing for sponsoring the race tonight. everyone at VSPEED. We're working together the best we can, and everyone at Below WL for putting an awesome week together.
Awesome, Keith. Well, congrats on the top 3 tonight, and we'll see you next week at Bristol.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
That is Keith Mayato, third place finisher here this evening. Now we're now going to pull in second place finisher, and that is Ben Bafford. Ben, this is Adam and Alec in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy? He might not be here.
Hey,
Ben.
he might not be here.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Ben, I know it's not the result you wanted, but what a battle between you and Adam Cabot for really, the last 2/3 of this race. You guys were the class of the field tonight. Ultimately, come up just about a half lap short from the victory. Can you just kind of run through those last few laps with us?
I think I had a decent gap. Adam saved a little better tire for the last, 5-10 laps. So he started running me down to about 4 or 5 tenths back, and then white flag at blue turn 1. He got within striking distance, and he gave me the old shot to the bumper. I respect it. That was very, very cleanly done. It was a wonderful battle. Give Adam a ton of props for that. That was some of the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, you guys put on a show for us when you had really driven away from the field. And I know that Adam has talked about it when we've interviewed him in the past, but I think you were the one who taught him how hard you could run into somebody without spinning them out. So is it a little bittersweet to have your teaching used against you?
Yeah, at Richmond, I definitely did give him 7 or 8 shots because I knew the car wouldn't spin out the guy in front, but unfortunately, it came back to haunt me. So, what can you do?
Yeah, it's racing, that's for sure. But you're right there in the thick of the championship fight. You gained some points on Bailey, and we're going into Bristol next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I'm not good at Bristol, so I don't have very high hopes, but hopefully I can stay in the top 3, top 5 is my goal here. I have $100 in payouts. Wow. Yeah,
there you go. I mean, you've been up at the front a lot this season, and really good finish again tonight. Second place, 33 laps led. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
A shout out to Alec Martinez, everybody back at the Nexus shop. Proud to be a part of the team.
Awesome, Ben. Well, congrats on the runner-up here tonight. Great show from you, and we'll catch you next week at Bristol.
We will catch you next week at Bristol.
That is the Ben Bafford, the Baff.
That is the Baff.
P2 here tonight as we go now to our race winner. That's going to be Adam Cabot. And Alec, I believe you're with him.
I am the Magic Man. Adam Cabot gets it done tonight. You got a copy, Adam? Alec Martinez, Adam Baker. You got a copy, buddy?
My goodness. Yes, I do, Alec.
Buddy, the Magic Man showed up tonight. You were within striking distance of Ben Bafford there going into turn 1 or into turn 3 on the last lap after he makes a mistake in the middle of 1 and 2. You give him the old-fashioned chrome home, give him the bump and run, and you come home with the victory. How you feeling?
Well, apparently I can only win these things in dramatic fashion. That's what I've taken away from this season is that my wins have to be down to the wire and last lap pass. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, every single one of my wins had a last lap pass. That's a pretty crazy stat. Wow, that was honestly one of the most satisfying wins and probably the most fun I've ever had battling anyone. I always joked around with with you. We had a good battle at Atlanta a few years ago. Good side-by-side finish there.
Yes, we did.
So that was no. Actually, wait.
Yeah, no, you did get me. Oh yeah.
Yes, I did. But you've got me at Atlanta before, so. But...
I love that track.
And then that win with Jeff Wright in ORL. That was you were part of that battle for a while until you sped or something. So.
Yeah.
But I would honestly potentially put this in my top 3 because Ben and I.
That's awesome.
Raced the crap out of each other, but we're fair and gave each other room. And then the funniest thing is I told Ben after the race, I'm like, I learned how to do the bump and run from you doing it to me like 3 weeks ago at Richmond. I'm like, I had no idea you could hit someone that hard in this car and get away with it until you kind of just ran me over for 3 straight laps. So in a sense, Ben being a little aggressive there at Richmond actually probably lost him the race here today. So but man, we had such a good battle there, and I can't believe I ran him back down. Honestly, you guys probably were surprised by that. I was pretty surprised too. I just with 6 or 7 laps to go, I'm like, well, there's no point in trying to take care of tires, do anything like that. I'm just gonna send it every single turn, and I just kept driving in deeper and deeper and deeper, and I'm like, one of these times I'm gonna miss the bottom, and I don't know, it just kept sticking. So that's kind of how I got my last win at Auto Club. Just all of a sudden grip out of nowhere, but I'll take it.
I mean, yeah, it seemed to work tonight, and the points have just been updated. You've cut your deficit to Bailey Turner to more than half, and are only trailing by 6 points. We go into the last Great Coliseum at Bristol next week, what we know is going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. What's the game plan going in there? Only being 6 behind your teammate. I know you got to make up a lot before you go into Atlanta for the final race of the season. What's the game plan for next week?
I'd love to do what I did today, which is get the pole and lead the most laps and win the race. But you can't expect to do that every week. So I don't know. Just gonna go into that race, and if I can, at least I don't have to be as aggressive. And I felt the need to be really aggressive tonight because I knew I just had a huge points deficit to try to make up. So I just kind of drove the living piss out of that car and tried to get every single point that I could tonight, and it worked. But it's a bit risky. So I don't know. Just maybe just try to finish a couple positions ahead of them. I mean, obviously go for the win if I can, but just try to finish ahead of them and at least give myself a shot going into Atlanta.
For sure. Well, again, congratulations on the win. I would say arguably probably one of the best finishes of the year, if not the best finish of the year that you've given to us. And man, it doesn't get no better than that. Again, congrats on the win. Textbook and in awesome fashion. Before we let you go, does everybody want to give a shout out to tonight?
Absolutely. Everyone who makes this league happen, Nick Starling, this has been a really fun league to race in this season. Obviously, you guys at VSPEED, everyone who watches my races and supports me, and then everyone we've got here on the team too. And I'll give a shout out to Ben Baffert because he, again, we raced each other as hard as you probably can without wrecking each other, but we kept it clean, and he was a good sport about it at the end too. So yeah, just looking forward to these last 2 weeks.
For sure, man. Well, again, congratulations on the win tonight. Go celebrate, and we'll see you next week at Bristol.
Sounds good, Alec. Thanks.
All right, see you, buddy.
That is Adam Cabot,
Yeah.
race winner here tonight. His third win of the season, all of them in dramatic fashion. But man, what a time to get a victory. He hasn't won since the second race of the season. He wins now in the third to last race of the season. Clutch performance tonight to close the gap down to 6 points. So it's going to be, it's ripe for the taking for any of the top four.
He was 13 points behind Bailey Turner going into Nashville tonight. He wins the race and he cuts it to 6 points. If he can do what he did today, and Bailey Turner has another bad race, if he finishes 4 points behind, but he needs to make sure that Bailey Turner doesn't lead laps. And if Cabot can get the pole, lead laps, and either win the race, if not finish 4 points ahead of Bailey Turner, we'd have a tie going into Atlanta, being, best man wins the race. Honestly, whoever finishes ahead wins the race and wins the championship. And all naturally going out here in the chase, and this is why we love it. Better than the championship for nonsense. This is just natural playing out of the last 7 or 8 races of the season. Man, it just doesn't get better than this, man. It's just awesome racing all night. I think candidate for race of the year, without a doubt. And man, these guys just never fail to put on a heck of a show each and every day. It just is amazing. And, awesome racing all day. And again, blessed to have you have me up here and enjoy and call these races, because man, it just gets the blood pumping and makes you have a good time. And I hope everybody enjoyed the race today. I know it was awesome. And hopefully you guys stick around the last 2 weeks. I know it's the last 2 weeks working with you, Adam, but I'm excited to work with Bradley next year, and might have to call that championship race for Atlanta and get used to the chemistry there. But it's just, man, it's been awesome. And congrats to Adam Cabot, Ben Baffert, putting on a heck of a show those last 30 laps, and all the guys battling out there. Putting on the show. 20 cars today. Awesome to have 20 cars, and hopefully we get some more, if not 20 next week at Bristol. And I know if we have 20-something cars at Bristol, it's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, that would be a very exciting race. And just 2 races left to go here in the Premier Series. Chase for the championship. Adam Cabot, your winner here tonight. No cautions. A very impressive performance by all the drivers to keep things clean. We only had the one incident very early on between Gary Sexton and Jeff Wright, which ultimately did not bring out a yellow flag. and we were able to run it green all the way to the end, 130 laps straight. Adam Cabot holds on for the victory over Ben Bafford with the bump and run move at the end. Bafford comes home in second. Keith Mayato finishes in the third position. Seth Hatchell will finish in fourth tonight in his return after a couple weeks off. Joshua Banks, nice solid top 5 for him, returning to that consistency we're used to seeing. Bailey Turner finishes in the 6th position. James Loveland will come home in 7th. Willie Nelson finishes in 8th. Angelo Ronas comes home 9th. And Ryan Gemmel rounds out the top 10.
And 11th, Chris Simard. 12th, Dallas Sullivan. 13th, Reggie Ortega. First car lap down was 14th, Nick Starling. Alan Dice gets a top 15. Eddie Trejo, 16th. Gary Sexton in 17th. Jeff Wright, 18th. Yusuf Ghali, 19th. And Matthew Zwack running out the top 20 in the field tonight. And tough break for Zwack, who was running inside the top 10, top 5 all day. Had a connection issue, but that'll be the finishing order here for tonight's Dialed In 180 at Nashville. Candidate for race of the year for sure. Can't wait to get out to Bristol. 200 laps, the last great Coliseum. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, so looking forward to Bristol. It's always a fun time. We'll be back here on Monday night with the Contender Series to continue that championship between the Pelican brothers and a few other guys over there. It's been a lot of fun seeing those races and that season, coming to a close as well in just a couple weeks. So tune in Monday to watch them race at Bristol, and then watch the Premier Series right back here on Tuesday night. Race at the Glass Great Coliseum as well. Going to be a lot of fun. And again, thank you, Alec, for joining me up here tonight. Thank you to all the
Thank you.
thank you to all the sponsors out there, the guys at the BTDY Racing League for allowing us to do this. And thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed, and we will catch you next time.